It's the last day. It's day 14, and I've been kind of struggling with how to wrap this training series up. And I'm sitting here today and just taking all in at how Beachbody has completely changed my life. And you can learn about this more in depth. I've got a why I'm a coach and what coaching has done for me video that's on my YouTube channel that you can go and watch. But right now I'm sitting in my hometown, staying at my parents' house, and with my fiance because he got sent over here for work. And when I signed up as a Beachbody coach, I was 50 pounds overweight. I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated my job. I was really unhappy with what I was doing. And one of those things, and why I've been able to get where I am so quickly and why I was able to quit my job in only 6 months, is that Brian was sent out of town for work, and we didn't see each other except for weekends for about 4 months. And there was maybe like 12 days in those 4 months that we saw each other. And we don't do well apart. We only dated for 4 months long distance before he moved to Boise and we moved in together. And it sucked, and it was really hard, and it was a really, really big struggle for us. And it really, with kind of the chaos going on, all I did was dig myself into Beachbody and ground myself in this thing. And I trusted in this, and I believed that this came at me for a reason, like the video yesterday talks about, and I trusted in that and just dug in 100% and took that negative circumstance that I was in and that being with Brian being gone and how hard that was, and instead of doing what I would have done before, which was probably going out and partying the whole time, and just like hanging out at the house and watching reality TV and eating pizza, because that's what I was doing before, I instead took that circumstance and used it to drive me forward, and used it to say that next time Brian has to go out of town, I'm going with him. And that's where I am right now. That I signed up as a coach just a little bit over 6 months ago, and 5 months in this business, I was able to quit that awful full-time job, and I'm here when Brian's working out of town, I'm here with him, and more than that I'm here, he's working in our hometown, and we're staying at my parents' house, and I'm planning at this current time when I'm recording this video, we're getting married in September. And I have the opportunity to be here and to plan that. And it was something that was causing stress in my life while I was home in Boise. And this business is freedom. It's not the financial freedom. Yeah, that those finances are a burden that pull people down. But what the real freedom is the freedom to wake up every single day and feel excited and passionate about what you do. And the freedom to do what you want with it. That I'm here working and I'm with Brian, and I don't have to make that sacrifice. And it's not having to make sacrifices for things. Like, I will never have to sacrifice being a stay-at-home mom in order to have a career. And a career is something that's very, very important to me, and it has always been very important to me. But after being a nanny for 5 years, I also, had the feeling of what it was like to stay at home and get to be there with the kids every single day that their mom didn't necessarily have at that point, and not necessarily something I wanted to miss out on either. And this gives me the best of both worlds, that I can have a huge, really incredible, successful career and be at home with my kids and pick them up from the bus every single day. That freedom is why you keep going every day. And in February, when I quit my job, I made $1,700. I was on a full-time salary job, and I brought home $1,700 every 4 weeks. And it wasn't enough for us, which is part of why I signed up as a coach. I touched on that. But when I quit in February, I'd only made $540 in my Beachbody business the month before. And I hated my job, and honestly, I was trying to get fired. And they called me in and weren't going to fire me, but basically gave me the option to quit or suck it up and stay. And I took that opportunity in front of me and that belief, and I trusted in where I was and what I was doing, and trusted that this sign came at me that you have the choice to leave. And I did, and I jumped in, and I trusted in my business, and that click that I told you guys that happened, that where it stops being about money at all and just turns in 110% about helping people, and that's what drives you, is just helping people, no matter what benefit you get from it. I did that. I switched, and in the second month, in March, I made $1,800 in my Beachbody business, and I didn't do anything different. I did the same things that I told you guys about in this training, and then I talked to you about. And I just had been consistent with it long enough that people trusted in me, and trusted that this wasn't a phase, and trusted that I was real, and trusted in my lifestyle, and trusted that I was going to be consistent and stay here and be accountable, and that I was actually going to be around to help them. Because a lot of people get into things like this and they jump in and they're in, and it gets hard, or there's days that it's not so easy, and they let go of their goals and they drop out. And when they were this close, when they're that close to the breaking point, and that's what happened to me in March, is I'd been doing it long enough, and people trusted me and were able to see enough of a change in me, and how Beachbody and how these tools and how everything had a really positive impact on my life. And they were able to see that, and it clicked, and it flipped, and my business jumped up, and I made more than double what I was making before. And it was all that click and that belief and that consistency and that trust and that sticking to my goals, and that the days that it was hard, I kept driving forward because of my why, because of things like that freedom and just wanting that freedom that kept me going, that got me here. And it can get you here. And I grew really quickly in quitting my job in 5 months. I just told you, I didn't have the financial backup of Beachbody to quit my job, but I jumped and I trusted. And part of what, propelled me forward so fast is that when I signed up, Brian was gone working, and all I did was Beachbody. I was either at my full-time job or just doing Beachbody. And so that time frame may not be as quick for you. And had I been in a different spot, had Brian been home, or had we already had kids, it would have been a slower process for me, because I would have made this a part-time job. I would have made this only 1 to 2 hours a day. And I would have had to sit down and stay focused in that. But you can do that. That's what my coach Nina did. Nina makes a very strict commitment to working this a part-time business, to being able to focus on her other passions and on her baby. And she has been incredibly successful, and incredibly successful in a short time. In only 10 months in the business, she was rated number 140 in the whole company. So you don't need a lot of time in order to have a lot of success and a lot of growth. And to think that in just 10 months has given Nina's family the freedom to be able to do things like travel, and for them to get a new car, and for her husband to be in law school and not have to be really concerned about supporting the family while doing that. And that's such a short amount of time, and so much freedom, and so much can change in such a short amount of time. And so that's what I want to leave you with, is the possibility and that force to drive towards. You're not driving for money. You're driving for freedom. And as long as you keep those intentions real, and those intentions in the right place, and to help people, and keep consistent, and keep working on you, and keep being proof the product works, and keep with your personal development, and keep inviting people, keep sharing this movement. This isn't a business. This is a movement. This is ending obesity in our country. This is little kids getting to know their grandparents. This is little kids having the opportunity to know their great-grandparents. I grew up knowing my great-grandparents, and my great-grandparents were around until I was in high school. And so many of my friends didn't have that. And my kids, I'm making sure that my kids are going to have their grandparents, and my kids are going to have their great-grandparents. That's what we do. This is a movement just to improve people's lives. And so that's the last training. It's also the last training in your additional trainings, is a short 3-minute video about what a movement is, and how it only takes one person doing this crazy out-the-box idea, and it only takes one person joining in for the movement to start. And the momentum, you got to get the momentum going and keep it going, that one person that joined in with you turns into 2. and that 2 turns into 4, and that 4 turns into 8, and that 8 turns into 16, and the movement explodes. And unless you can work and push to get that 1 person, and then 2 people, and then 4 people, you'll never be able to get 8 and 16 and then 32. But it'll happen. And it's through consistency and working and growing yourself that takes place. So now we're done with this 14-day training. Where do you go from here? After this, and after you qualify for Emerald, and you have all the tools to do that. You have all the tools that you need to be a successful coach. So now it's just building on them and getting better at them. And these things aren't going to become easier. You're going to become better. And that's so empowering to know that the things that I'm doing today are just as difficult as they were before. Recording a YouTube video is just as difficult as the first time I recorded a Y video for my first challenge group. It's just that I've gotten better. So stick with that. After this, you have all these tools. Now you're going to qualify for Emerald. Once you qualify for Emerald, you then qualify for a diamond training with your upline diamond coach. That may be me, that may be somebody else in my downline, but it's the upline diamond coach who you go to. And there is, that information can be found in your back office. On the far left side, it tells you who your upline coach is, who your upline diamond, and who your upline star diamond is. And in the diamond training, we get more into that belief and just more into growing in these exact same things. The information, it's not different information. It's just expanding on this information. So you have the full foundation to build your castle. You just have to work on those bricks. Okay? I'm proud of you. And it's just going to get better from here. And just keep growing and focus on your Success Club points, making Success Club a priority. Write down your goals and know what you're working towards. And believe that you're here for a reason. And believe that this opportunity was put in front of you for a reason. Trust in that and keep going because you are changing lives. You are part of a movement. And that will only get bigger and you will only get better.